Hello again. I'm slowly but surely working my way through the list of requests I've got, and today I am going to be working on a Tiddly Inks image. This is Poppy, and she's a digital stamp, and I had a request from Tina, TD2596, asking if I could show how I would color up the long hair on these Tiddly Inks girls, so I thought that would be a fun one to do today. So I'm just going to jump in and start with her skin because it'll be pretty quick, so we might as well do that. And I'm just using my go-to light skin tone color combo, the E000, E00, E11. And on this one, I'm going to have my light source, I think we'll go pretty much straight on this one, just since she's facing so forward. So I'm just going to lay in a base coat of color on the face. And I tend to leave a little bit of white across the bridge, kind of in the space between her eyes. That'll be my lightest area at the end. Now I'm going in with, and I'm working, personally, I go light to dark and back down. You can certainly start dark to light. It can work either way. Now I'm going to just start laying in the shadows underneath her hairline and underneath the chin. It's going to be a little bit down there, and then the flower is going to create a little bit of shadow, and as the hand wraps away from the light source down here. Now my darkest is going to be the E11, and just a touch of that along that hairline, the flower, a little bit here. Basically, with the light source kind of straight on directly, above. You're going to have a little bit of a shadow because it's going to be brightest at the center and fading out to the darker areas all around on all sides of the image. So a little bit there too. Okay, now is where that's laying the color down. Now I'm going to go back and start blending them together, and I go back with my E00 right over top the E11 and blend it down, blend it up here, and then finish it with the 000. And I'm not going to start way back over the 11. I'm actually going to start in the middle of the face for this and just kind of blend into that 00, but not quite into the 11, because I want to keep that a little darker. And I know I have written down here, and I usually use a combination of R00 and R20, but as small as the area is for her cheeks, I think I'm going to go ahead, skip the R00, and just do a dot of R20 for her cheeks, just since, it's so small on her. It'd be kind of silly to waste the 00. And I'm just going to take my E00 to kind of blend it a bit out. There we go. See, yeah, looks good. Okay, so now we're done with skin, and I'm going to move on to hair. And I'm trying a combination. This is just something I'm kind of experimenting with, so we'll find out how it works together. So I'm starting with an E21. That's my lightest, and I always kind of start at the part, and I always lay the color down in the direction the hair grows out. And okay, so here's where it's kind of wrapping around her head. So the light source that I have coming from kind of up and center is going to hit that crown of her head, so I'm leaving that white to start with. So and that's why I like to work light to dark, is I can map out for myself my very lightest ones by just laying down my light color everywhere else. And then leaving what I want at the end to be the lightest white to start with. So that crown of her head, I'm leaving white right now. And this side's going to have a lot less just because the flower here is kind of falling where that light is going to be brightest. And it would cast a little bit of shadow there. But we're going to leave a little bit of a white just to continue that crown around. And then definitely this, the hair behind her head is all going to be dark at the end. And now I'm going to, just to kind of vary things up as long as this is, I'm going to have another kind of bump out here, like the skirt is going to, we're going to say, is kind of creating a little bump out where the light's going to hit a little bit more. So we're going to leave another white space down here. And this is where you know, total liberty with wherever you want to put the highlights on the long hair like this, because you know, on this side I wouldn't have the technical bump out of the skirt, but I want to continue that look around, so we're going to do it over on this side anyway, leaving a little bit of white, have that leaf cast a little bit of shadow there. Okay, so now we've got our lightest color on. Now I'm going to follow it up with E33, and I start right over top the 21. And I just pull it about half the length. You know, I don't go all the way as far as the 21. So like in here, I'm putting it on, but I'm not going it out as far as where the 21 ended. And then same for up here. But I want to get back here where it's going to be cast, you know, shadows and further away from the eye, like behind her neck back there. And same on this side. Kind of start in the middle here and pull up, but not as far as the 21. And then start at the bottom and just flick up. Okay. And it's going to get darker down here underneath the dress. Now I'm going to jump to E37, and again starting just at that kind of crown, and not as far as the last one. Each time I'm kind of going smaller and smaller, and flicking the color in the center here. And then just using it as kind of a shadow behind that flower. Pulling it up from the bottom. And I'm not worrying about blending or looking pretty at this point. I always say it, but it's just getting the color on this first go round. And kind of mapping out where your light and dark areas are going to be. Okay, get back here. I'm going to go a little bit lower over here. Okay, now for my final color, my darkest one, I'm going to go to E29. See how that looks for contrast. I think this is going to be nice. Kind of a chestnut looking hair color combination. Okay, so our final little low light here. There, underneath there. Just a touch of it down here at the bottom. Pulling up, always in that directionality of the hair growing and falling. Hit some shadows under her dress there. And across the middle here. And then back behind her face. And that's going to help frame that face too, and really make it pop a bit. Okay, so now comes the time when we're going to start blending that all back out and making it look pretty. So E37, and I'm going to start over the 29 and just kind of pull down. And start at the 29 and pull up. Same on the crown now. I'm going to start right over the darkest and start blending that together. Do the same over here. Okay, now the 33, E33. And again, not starting in our darkest, just kind of moving up into that E37. This is where I'm wondering how I'm gonna get, what kind of blend I'm gonna get. It's a big jump between the 33 and 37, so we'll see if we need to tweak that a bit. I might do a little get some 37 on the, just a clear plastic block or whatever, pick it up with my 33 and help blend that way. See if that gives us a smoother blend. Okay. Same over here. And over on this side. Okay. Now my very lightest color is the E21. And I'm just starting in that E33 area and pulling and blending. And this is where you decide how glossy you want her hair. If you want those really white, glossy shine, leave that white. And I think on this one we will. I usually have a tendency to color mine in a bit, but I'm going to leave some white on this one so she's got that super shiny hair. Okay. So now I've got my first kind of blend through. And let's see where I am. Oh, been knocking you around. Okay. So now, real quickly, I'm going to just reinforce my darkest, jump back up to the E29. And get a little bit more contrast here. A little bit more down here. I'm even gonna bring it down there. Okay. And just blend that back out. Light, kind of flicking motions with the marker. Kind of as it wraps around. Really darken up down here underneath that skirt, I think. It's going to help it look nice. And just with my 33 real quick. Now I'm kind of getting that color I want. I just was needing a little bit more contrast. And that's where the nice thing, you go up and down the ones, so you blend up, blend down. You don't have to be done. You know, take a look at your little character. Is it as dark as you want in some places? Is it, you know, are you getting the light contrast that you want in others? And then go back in if you want. There's no rule saying you have to be done after one pass up and down. Okay. So you could be done there, and that gives you just kind of the shiny look. I like to go back in and add the strands of low lights through the hair. So I jump back with my E29, my darkest in this combination. And this is where, just with that very tip of your marker, and this one is nice because it gives you the lines to follow. And just really, you know, short little flicks, as quick as you can, as light as you can. Follow those lines, or create your own if they're not provided in the image, and just pull down and go straight across those lightest areas. And this is just going to help break it up and give it some contrast. And you can see where I got into the flower there, but I can always go back in with my colorless blender and push that out. And then I'm going to even flip it and come up from the bottom and give her some strands there. That one got a little heavy-handed, but I think I'm having a tendency to want to fill this in because there's just so much hair. There we go. Not looking too shabby. Okay. And that is, I'm going to say, she's looking pretty done. She's got some nice shiny hair, long and flowing. Okay, I'm going to leave her alone until I let that dry a little bit and push out the color around the flower. I could do the same down here, though most likely I'm going to fussy cut her out, so I'm not going to worry about that. So that's how I would tackle the long straight hair on the Tiddly Inks girl. I think I'm gonna give her a little white highlight in her eye just to liven her up a little bit, and then I'll probably color her up later. I don't know if I'll get around to it today, but who knows, maybe we'll see another video. Some people have been asking for me to share my finished cards, and I will. I don't always get around to creating them immediately after coloring, or sometimes I have to hold on to them for assignments. But I will always come back and link to the finished card in the description on the video. And I have done that for all of the past videos if you're curious to see how the cards turned out. So even if it's not there right away, it will eventually, the link will be added to my blog, 1000sheetsofpaper.blogspot.com. And so eventually, it might not be right away, but the card will, with the finished product, will be up. And I think that is everything. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye.